accepted, unashamed. I belong to you, my Father. I belong to you. Your arms are open wide, forgiven, now alive. I belong to you, my Father. I belong to you. Your love has called my name, accepted, unashamed. I belong to you, my Father. I belong to you. Your arms are open wide, forgiving, now alive. I belong to you, my Father. I belong to you. Your love is called, come on. Your love has all declared out, accepted, unashamed. I belong to you, my Father. I belong to you. Oh, your arms are open wide, forgiving, now alive. I belong to you, my Father.
How's everybody doing? Carolyn, are you guys introing this?
How you guys doing? Awesome. Welcome back from lunch. I know some people will be trickling in, but we're going to just jump right in to one of our favorite times. We like this time so much we're going to do it twice during this worship summit. We call this the Worship Boot Camp. Not booty camp, boot camp. Just boot camp. For all of you that were thinking that.
Okay, so while we're in 12-year-old speech, did anyone catch Daniel say shart in his talk this morning? Thank you! Who was it? He went to say, we started to share.
You just can't win. You just can't win here. I'm telling you. They hold on every single word. But really, the worship boot camp is, we kind of do it a little different each time. But the whole point is, how do you help someone come on board to a team? How do you help them grow? People that are seasoned versus people that are just starting out. How do you prepare a set? How do you work with a team that's, maybe doesn't know each other as well? So there's all these kind of dynamics. There's dynamics between even the sound booth that they're going to talk about in the second breakout session. So basically the boot camp is kind of a way to test out and kind of give you some way that we model through it, and we've kind of prompted them to be maybe not as agreeable all the time up there with our team starting, but really just like how do we work out the team dynamics? How do you Bill, did you want to have someone share a testimony before we start this? Oh, okay. That's not happening. Just found that out. Keep going. Do you want me to describe now what they're going to do, or they're just going to go for it?
Well, you can describe what we're asking, what Kyle's going to do.
Yes. So we've asked Kyle to lead this team, and we've asked him to take a song, teach them a song, but then do some sort of mashup. A mashup of another song, bridge or chorus, combined with that song, and kind of navigate the team to that amazing end. Like you guys did last night with On You Stay and
What a Beautiful Name.
What a Beautiful Name.
Yep.
Remember when we were all like, holy? It was amazing. Yeah, so just
Cool.
like that.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Cool. So we'll just pretend like we just, I don't know if you guys do like a midweek rehearsal or anything, but we'll just pretend like this is like a Thursday night and we're about to rehearse. So everybody, thank you for coming to rehearsal tonight. Thank you for giving up your precious time. Instead of being with your families, you're here. We appreciate that. And, we're going to, like I sent out in the link in the email before, we're going to do the song Waymaker. Hope you had a chance to listen to it. And hey, Dave, if you don't mind, can you not play right now until we kind of get into it? Thanks, Dave. Love you, Dave. And, just like in the link, this song starts with keys, that little dun, dun, dun. And then we got Peter, you'll come in on that tom beat, that really simple tom beat. Dun, dun, ch, dun. That's okay. Instead of the tambourine, maybe just hit some rim shots or something instead of the tambourine. I don't know what you said. But so we'll start with the keys, and then Tom's will come in as soon as he hits those notes. And then when he comes in on the 4, then we'll all just be on that normal progression.
Hey, I know so I was practicing this at home.
Sure.
And I really feel like the first 6 minutes of the song sound really good with just acoustic. I don't know what you think about that, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty great. Just thought.
Well, how about for this service, we'll keep it going this direction, and then maybe later tonight we'll do that in the green room or somewhere backstage together, and we'll see how it feels, and then maybe we'll apply it for next time. Cool. Hey, Dave and Joe, you guys got anything you want to share with the rest of the team or anything? No? Oh, okay. Just checking. Didn't know if you guys had any ideas or anything you wanted to bounce off of us.
We were talking about this thing that happened earlier. It's hilarious.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I love Joy on the worship team. It's awesome. Cool. Well, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll use a click for this. I think we'll try like 138, 140. Actually, we'll dial it up. Let's do like 144-ish, and we'll see how that feels. Cool. So have you started, Ben, with that intro, and then we'll all come in on that progression. One second. Sorry, guys. Hey, Peter, I love your passion and your enthusiasm, and we want to just save that passion just for a little bit later in the song. So just kind of keep what you're doing right there at the very beginning and just kind of keep that going, and maybe just slowly layer in as we go. Yeah. Hey, Michael, I love that part. Maybe we'll just save that for some spontaneous, crazy dance party later. Cool. And actually, maybe we'll kind of change up this song a little bit. Maybe we'll add a bridge. You guys know that song, The Stand? I'll stand with arms high. You don't know that song?
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. Dang. Well, it's really simple. We'll use the same chords as Waymaker, and we'll just see how it feels. We'll build it up and just see what happens. That sound good? Cool. Joe, you seem happy about it. Cool. All right, let's start that intro again. You are here, moving in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. Let's drop out for this chorus. You are waymaker, miracle, promise keeper. A little bit less there, Michael. My God, that is who you are. Yeah, that sounds good. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. Yo, Joe, I love that, but maybe just a little bit less for you as well. You are here, moving in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. That's intense. And you are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. Let's try a straight build. And you are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. Unleash it for me. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. That is straight up. That is who you are. And 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 I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned, in awe of the one who gave it all. And I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrendered. All I am is yours. Maybe four on the floor.
I just don't think we have time to fit that in. It just seems like, I think it would just really mess stuff up.
Yeah.
I think we should just skip it.
Okay, that's it.
Plus, I don't think anybody's heard that song before. I've never heard it.
You don't think so? Okay, that's an idea.
Given us like more of an advance.
Say it again.
You should have given us more of an advance. So.
Yeah, I know.
I like to meditate on the set for at least 3 weeks beforehand. I just don't feel it. I don't.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, Craig. Can I get some more reverb on here?
Okay, well, that's an idea. I think maybe we'll see how they respond to it this first time, and maybe we'll adjust after that. But anyone else have any input on this so far?
I think we should go cut time.
You think we should what?
Cut time on the bridge.
Cut time? Okay. Maybe just like one time? Okay, cool. Well, we'll see how it feels. Let's go through that part one more time, and then maybe just bring in four on the floor after that first time of singing it, and we'll just kind of get into it, and we'll see how that feels. So let's do one more time. I'll stand, and then I'll have you bring in the four on the floor. We'll build it up and see how it feels. And I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned, in awe of the one who gave it all. And I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrendered. All I am is yours. Four on the floor. And I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned, in awe of the one who gave it all. And I'll stand, my soul, Lord, to you surrendered. All I am is yours. Let's build it. And I'll stand with arms high and heart abandoned, in awe of the one who gave it all. How's that feel? What do you guys think now that we kind of went through it? Is it feeling better now? A little bit better? Michael, okay, still unsure. Cool. All right, you guys have any thoughts now? Anything you want us to try?
All right. So how many worship leaders do we have in the room? A lot. How many things that happened on the stage felt kind of familiar? A lot. Okay. So what are some things that maybe you observed or noticed, or things that you're going, wow, like I would need help, or just any observations you have that you want to ask or share?
He's the worship pastor.
I'm guiding anyway.
He gave him, I think you gave him a little bit of guidance in the beginning, but basically I think Kyle's expectation was that they came having listened and knew what they were going to do. And so, we often say Thursday night shouldn't be practice, they should be rehearsal, because you should already be practiced when you show up. And so if Ben is prepared, then when Kyle looks at him and says, go ahead and do it like, the recording or whatever we sent out, then he is expecting that he knows what to do. But I don't know about the rest of you. That's not nearly always been my experience with the team. Right? And so if Ben were to say, I don't know, what am I supposed to play? What would your response be to that, Kyle?
I would probably have to, if I had the feeling that he wasn't gonna get it, for the sake that he didn't actually prep, then it would be one of those things where we would just kind of get the foundation of the song out of the way, and then it'd be one of those things where after rehearsal, I would pull him aside, and then even if I had to hum the notes, be like, down, 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 for that keys intro, until he just kind of went back and forth with me and matched me, and then we would just be like, okay, now we'll apply that for Sunday morning rehearsal or whatever. And does that answer that question? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Thanks for coming prepared, Ben.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Daniel.
Yes. Yep. For sure. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Carolyn just said it too. We want to get to that place where rehearsals are actually. We come prepared musically, I like to say, so that we can risk spiritually and go somewhere else spiritually. And those rehearsals are a time just to start diving into that. What does that going to that new place look like? Because we should already have down our parts. So, but yeah, that's definitely something I would bring him aside personally. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Did you hear that?
Well, here we're kind of different because our worship is after the message on Sundays, and so we like to use that as a chance to really bring home that 2-1 punch, where you hear the message and then the worship just reinforces everything that the message is saying. So we hear a practice preach on Tuesday mornings, and then that's when we prep our sets. So our sets don't go out until Tuesday nights, usually. Before that, a lot of times, if I know ahead of time, we're going to do this song, I'll send that out, even before that. But they nail it down. They get it out Tuesday nights, and then they spend the next 48 hours somewhere in that time to prep those songs, and then Thursday night we rehearse. So it's a really quick timeline, but we don't, something that helps us is that we're not as aggressive with introducing new songs as some churches. I know some churches do a song every week, a song every 2 weeks. We do about 7 or 8 a year, and so it's kind of, we've got a block of songs that we've just kind of really honed in. So but it's a really short timeline. I know some churches get their sets out months in advance, so that's how we do it here.
Yeah, that's good. In answer, just hitting on just if someone can't play it, I know many times we just go real simple with the person. Really, it's sometimes easy, and I've had to work through this myself, like either high demands on myself or high demands on my team, and learning it's better just to really set them up for success. And if simplicity in the drum beat, simplicity, maybe the recording is like this amazing sound, but I know we've just found it's better like where they feel really comfortable, and maybe they're just doing block chords on this specific song at the beginning, and we just kind of forgo that, familiar intro. Yeah. I know that's been really helpful to learn.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm coming to you so the online stream can hear you.
This isn't a question so much about what you guys just did, but you just said you do 7 or 8 songs a year.
Yeah.
How in the world do you choose?
New songs.
I know.
Yeah.
How do you choose only 7 or 8 new songs with all the great stuff that's out there? Seriously, how do you guys choose?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. It's really organic. It's not even me just being like, these are it. It's kind of just as leaders hear new songs. And when I say leaders, like there's about 9 of us that lead consistently. And it's like, hey, like check out this song. And then we'll usually go after that one. And like I said, some churches do a lot, some churches don't. So like Gateway in Texas, they do 7 a year. That's just their number. But yeah, it's just very like, Holy Spirit, what songs do you want to do? So.
I know in Sullivan, we need to have at least 2 or 3 leaders that are committed to leading a song.
Yeah.
So if I don't have at least 2 or 3 leaders that are really excited to lead it, then we won't introduce it. Because if we're going to introduce it, we want to make sure that we're doing it enough that the people in the church, because we get really bored with songs, but the church doesn't. They just get so excited when there's familiarity. So that's been a helpful grid for us. Okay. So what we'd like to do now is we're going to give Kyle a little bit of a curveball, and we're going to replace team members that he is mostly used to working with and give him some new team members. And so we would love if we could have some volunteers, or sometimes we call it being voluntold. We can volunteer some of you to join on the stage. But first, a huge thank you to Dave Whitbeck for being on the bass. Do we have a bass player in the room that would like to join in the fun? John, awesome. You were gonna be my volunteer if. Awesome. All right. How about on the drums? Give Peter a hand. Peter, you rock.
Carolyn.
Yeah, come on up. Woo. How about a keyboard player? We need a female. Nothing against the men in the room, but I'm going, we need another female, or a female on acoustic. Come on. Who am I missing? Danelle? I see you not looking. And what guy in the back, you are next. What was your name again? Yeah, Scott. Scott's coming next. All right.
You look away.
All right, and then another background vocalist, please. Daniel, is that your name over there? Oh, yay, my memory.
Could I say something about the BGV?
Yes.
It's as BGVs, just I know it's kind of even more personal to take critique because it's your voice and it's what you're singing, but be open, BGVs, to the leaders saying, could you sing a little less? It's not a diss on you. We are all supporting the song. And so your voice is going to be an added something that's going to make it go to another level. And so waiting to come in is good. And then also worship leaders, I know sometimes BGVs are forgotten in critique and feedback. And you don't tell us if we did a good job. And you don't tell us if you wanted us to sing somewhere. So talk to your BGVs and tell them how they're doing and just encourage them. So
You did amazing on that.
that's all I wanted. Goodbye.
Success.
That's good. Okay, how about give a hand to Michael Reed for supporting us on
Michael.
the acoustic? How about another acoustic player? Tess. Oh, wait, we got one? All right.
We got one.
Next.
He's ready.
I love it. This guy in the prophetic worship workshop, dude. What a gift. Okay. So Daniel, are you going to be sticking with, I'm sorry, Daniel, Kyle, are you going to be sticking with the same song?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll stick with Waymaker.
Yep. To how many of you is Waymaker a new song? Some of you listen to mostly like to Leland's version, Bethel, so kind of new. Yeah, really good. Great song. Really easy for the church to pick up quickly, which is
4
wonderful.
chords.
Yeah. And the band.
The V worship version. Cool. Do you guys want to just go ahead and just play some of your stuff just to make sure you guys can hear everything? Yeah, go ahead and give that a strum. Step on that white pedal right there and see if that... There you go. There we go. Do you need a capo or anything? We're going to play in the key of C. Cool. There you go. I don't think she's using ears. So we'll go no click for this one, just because I know she doesn't have in ears or anything. You guys both have in ears. Cool. Okay, sweet. You good to go? You think? Okay. So we're gonna do the song Waymaker, and this song is 4 chords, just really simple, just the whole time, the same progression, doesn't change at all. And those chords are F, then C, then G, and then A minor. Just that the whole time. And then, so Danelle, I'm going to assume do you know this intro? Okay, that's cool. So what we'll do is I'll start this first verse really simply. So we'll just do keys and this electric, and then my voice, and then you can kind of add in, we call them diamonds, so just those, you just let it ring out, and then so don't bring any like strumming in until we get to that chorus. And John, you can come in on the chorus as well, and same with you, Dan. And then I'll have you bring in that really simple tom beat on the chorus, so doom, doom, rim shot, doom, 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 rim shot. Just something really simple like that, and we'll see how that feels. And then for that verse 2, that's when we'll kind of unleash into like a more of a beat, but we'll keep it really tom, like tribal sounding. Doom, doom, doom. Maybe snare, doom, 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 snare. And then we'll just kind of keep layering it, and everyone just slowly kind of add and layer in with that second verse, and eventually it'll build, straight build, into a full chorus and the same chords over and over again. And Dan on BGVs, that's when that second time we come back to that chorus, just really let it go. Cool. Sound good? Here we go.
You are here, working in this place. I worship you, I worship you. You are here, moving in this place. I worship you, I worship you.
And then Danelle, you can add in here.
You are here, working in this place. I worship you,
I worship you. Maybe add some cymbal swells right here. You are here, working in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. And we're bringing that simple tom beat. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Big drums. You are here, healing every. I'm butchering the word, sorry. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. Add a layer of intensity here, everyone. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. And we're gonna straight build. And you are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. And you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Don't be afraid to get into it. Yeah, waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, a little simpler. Darkness, my God, that is who you are. That is straight build. That is who you are. And that is who you are. And that is who you are. That sounds good. That is who you are. One more time. And that is who you are. And that is who you are. And that is who you are. Crash, that is who you are. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop. Hey John, you can do some little fills in here. Never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Bring those toms back. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. We're gonna do it one more time. We're gonna build it back in the chorus. Whoa! Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Say a little bit more simple there. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is. We're gonna go into instrumental. Now bring that back. That is who you are. And that is who you are. And that is who you are. And that is who you are. Cymbal swell. That is who you are. You guys did awesome. That was really great.
Dave, come over here too, and Daniel. Dave, I want you to share some observations about the drummer, and then we got some more to talk about. This was awesome.
What's your name, bro? Ethan? Man, what a spectacular drummer. Where are you from? No kidding. So who are you playing for? Because, Sullivan's not that far away. Is he playing for you? Dang, you are a special
Do I hear
talent.
500?
Yeah, you are a special talent. That is really nice drumming.
Really good.
Now, one thing that I would say is your kick drum was really excited. And so the thing is, the bass player could never keep up with what your kick drum was doing. You know, we just talked about this in my clinic over here. When the kick and the bass are locked in together, it takes a whole band to that next level of just tightness, and we're in this thing together. And so if you, like, I love the stuff that you're doing with that kick, but if you could make that like the flashy stuff that you kind of get out, and here's the da-da-da-da-da, and then you're back in the pocket in this predictable groove that John can follow. Because if that bass locked in with your kick drum, then this thing would have been, I mean, it was amazing already. But that's the only thing I would say. Other than that, I mean, you're tasteful, your timing, and it was just beautiful. Nice job.
That's good.
Really amazing. So good. Okay, so Daniel. So, like, I didn't know what to expect. And because, I mean, obviously I don't know you, but on a first impression, I was like, you would come across as maybe being a little more introverted, and maybe even a little more introverted and maybe a little more shy. And that's what I saw in the first verse. But when we hit the chorus, I'm like, fall on the floor like, what just happened in this room? Because, you came to life. You really came to life. And when you came to life, I don't know if you noticed it, but the whole room just went, whoa. And so what I would say to you, first of all, is that just fearlessness that you brought in that moment, that you're able to carry that through a whole song, whether you're singing quietly or whether you're able to sing big, that you can carry that same confidence in either direction, because that confidence was so powerful and just shifted the atmosphere of the room. And so I just say keep going after that, because it was just that intensity that you had. And we talk about this as background vocalists sometimes. It's easy to save the intensity for the big moments of a song. And a huge part of what we need to learn to do is we can have the same intention and the same, like, what's the word I'm looking for, guys? Like, the same level of connectedness, singing a low part in a verse, that we can have singing the big anthem of the bridge. So we don't hang out here bored until we get to those parts. We keep that same level of connectedness throughout the whole song. And so that's where I was like, man, because you surprised the socks off of me. I don't have socks on, but you surprised me, and I was just like, oh, it's just so good. Thank you so much for what you brought. It was just wonderful. Yes. You want to add to that?
Yeah, I thought it was so powerful. Yeah, just wanted to speak on for BGVs. It's like, it's really even instrumentalist. Anytime there's an interlude or a time where you're not singing or anything like that, people are still watching you. They're still engaging. And if you're like, I just sang, and then I'm like, waiting for my next moment, it's like that just comes across. But if you're just like in it, so it is a challenge. Like when we first went to cameras on our stage there, and we're broadcasting online and things like that, oh no. You just watch yourself not be engaged, or the RBF, you guys know what that means? So look it up. Well, maybe not, I don't know. Well, don't look it up. Anyway, it's just really important. And, it was like, once you went for it, Dan, like there to the end, you were in it. Yep. So it's like you kind of needed that spring into it. And of course, you got people looking at you, nerves, all that kind of stuff. So you did an amazing job. But I just wanted to speak to that. And every time, yeah, good job.
Yes. And Danelle, way to go. You went for it. And I know some of your background on the keys because we've worked together for a while. And were you on pad or piano and pad? Both, yeah. Okay. So one thing, for instance, if I had someone like Danelle who was coming in and maybe not as familiar with a song, pads is a great place to start them. Pads is the perfect place for us. Even if you have somebody classically trained, start them on pads. Because it's so easy for us, if we've been classically trained, to overplay. And so what really helps somebody who maybe is kind of like, I know the song, but I don't know all the parts to it, and I don't know how to fill it in, is just to play pads. And so even like the piano pad that you had was perfect, and you like went right after it. Now my only input would you to be, and I'll spend a little equity because I know you, is you were locked into the chord chart through the whole time, and you played the same 4 chords. And so if it's the same 4 chords, why do we lock ourselves into the chord chart? Confidence, security. Confidence, security. Why do we lock ourselves into chord charts, vocalists, when we've sung the song 100 times? And then what happens when we lock ourselves into the chart? We lose connection, right? Yeah. Get rid of the charts. So even if it's like a 4-chord song, write the chords out and try not to look at them again, because what they do is they're a way that it can steal our attention. And I've been there. I will lock myself into I'm like, why am I looking at these chords? I know the chords. But what happens sometimes is when you get nervous, we forget them, right? And it's like, what if I forget? And then if you forget them, they don't come back quickly. At least the older I get, I'm like my words last night. Thank you, Kyle, for bailing me out. But anyway, yeah, just that, like, it's that nerves in the moment of like, what if I forget what I'm supposed to play next, which we've all been there, right? And so anyway, that would be my input. And again, it's just an exercise. Listen, leaders, if we want our musicians to grow in not being as attached to chord charts, who leads the way? We lead the way. And that's one area that we can continue to grow and push our teams, is to come and lose chord charts and say, you know what, because if we want our teams to learn to memorize songs, and especially when they're easier songs like that, it's really on us to lead the way and ditch them. And I know it's easier said than done, especially with lyrics, right, Dave?
When I walk into the room.
Yeah, and any feedback for John? Fantastic job, and I can't remember the gentleman. Any feedback for these other guys musically?
No, you guys did great. One thing that I think was modeled here, and Dave, you hit on this a little bit. For lack of a better term, we call it kind of the fraction principle. Basically, the more people you add on a team, the more simply you play, because you're actually going for a fuller sound, a more complete sound. So, you know, keyboard players often have to listen to the electric player, and drummer and bass, they have to listen to each other. And if one person's overplaying, it kind of makes the other person have to play simpler. So we're listening to each other, but if you're all listening, it all forms into this amazing thing. So it's great to have lots of team members, but it just means everybody plays a little simpler. And I just thought you guys, you realize, okay, there's a lot going on here. I'm just going to play simply, and that was really good. So, okay, do we want to shift to other
Just
people?
one really small, quick note.
Go for it.
I don't know if you guys probably noticed, some would consider maybe that beat that Ethan went into like pretty flashy, you could say. But I feel like it kind of needs to be talked about, I think. I feel like, you know, beats like that or guitar solos or whatever it is, I think it's the religious spirit, I think, would just love to just be like, oh, that's not godly and that's distracting and all that stuff. And I just think there's a time and a place for it. So, like, you notice that, like, I told him to simplify, but then I was like, at the end there, I was like, bring that back. Because it can, like, there are certain things, that the way you can play certain things, there's certain notes, there's a reason why we're even able to do it in the first place, like, or else it wouldn't be possible. So, like, I just think it's important to find, you know, those spots for that, because it can actually really unleash things. Because when he brought it back there for the instrumental, it just, like, changed things. It just, like, opened things up. So just be mindful. It's not like I'm going to say, like, I'm going to solo on everything I do. But there's moments and there's times for it. So just wanted a quick note there.
Yeah, that's really good. Really good.
Okay. Thank you. And yeah, why don't we have, thank you, just give a clap to every team member. Yes? So now we'd like to have we're going to up it a little bit, risk factor. We need a worship leader that leads without an instrument, that is willing to give direction to the team. Just to make sure we're clear on the parameters. And when I say willing to give direction to the team, we're not going to put you on the spot to embarrass you at all or anything like that, but someone who wants to kind of step up a little bit in leading the band. Worship leader that leads without an instrument. Come on. Woo!
Good job.
Okay. And now let's see. Tess, let's have you on acoustic. Scott on keys. And we need a drummer. Come on, girl. You're amazing. Yes. I know you. Yay. I didn't know you were here. Welcome. All right. And then bass player. This is getting fun right now. Okay. And then let's add in a background vocalist. Are we doing the whole? All right. Woo woo. And then, do we have an electric guitar player? Ben, do you play electric? I don't think she's going to be in G. Do we have another electric guitar player? Barry, where's Barry?
Oh, yeah, that's who I was looking for.
Barry. Barry. We want you very much, Barry. Barry's the man. Okay, so they are going to play the song
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit in the key of D. We've been trying to get our senior pastor in Sullivan to go for getting us iPads so we could, change keys easier. Yeah, and pull up songs really quickly instead of go print the music. So, save the trees. It's really nice. Okay, our leader. Remind us tell us what your name is.
I'm Caitlin.
Caitlin, and how long have you been leading worship?
About 4 years.
About 4 years, and which church are you from?
Heartland Vineyard in Waterloo.
Heartland Vineyard. All right. Okay, so you're going to be leading Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And are you pretty familiar with leading this song?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, awesome. Is there anything you want to go over with the team? Do you have any signals that you give or anything like that?
I do a lot of vocal cues.
Vocal cues? Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so as soon as everybody is set here.
Are we doing the whole, I just want to make sure. Are we wanting us to do the whole song or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just if you were coming onto the team, some people you haven't played with, so just maybe even just kind of map the song out for them. It's going to have this feel, this is the tempo. I want to start off like this and then go here in the chorus, and you just kind of give them a little bit of a map and how you would do that.
Okay.
Does that work?
Sure.
Okay.
And into the microphone.
Into the mic so we can all hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so this song, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I want to kind of leave it pretty low in the beginning. So we'll start with keys. And then it'll be mostly keys through the first two verses. And then we'll go straight into the chorus. When we go into the chorus, I want everyone to come in, but low. So nothing too big, nothing too flashy. And then we'll do the two verses again after the chorus. And at that point, I would like a little tom work whenever we come into the verses again. And then when we go to the chorus, we'll do it twice. So they'll both be pretty full. And then we'll have an instrumental and go to the bridge, which will be low, and then we'll build back into the chorus. Okay. Does that make sense?
For the instrumental, do you want us playing? Thank you.
I also
do you
don't
want
have
us
this
playing
on my
the chorus chords or the bridge chords for that instrumental? Oh, you're good. Do you want it to sound like the bridge or the chorus?
For the instrumental.
Chorus. Okay, cool.
And piano, whenever you start, you can just play the verse chords until I come in. Pad. Is there any way I can get this on here? Okay. Can we actually do that just a touch faster? There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. In your presence. Can I have some cymbals? And I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, when my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. In your presence, Lord. Chorus. And Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for. To be overcome by your
Wow, thank you so much, team, to all of you. Caitlin, how did that feel to you?
I liked it.
You liked it? Okay. So if I know for me, when I started leading the band as a vocalist, giving input to musicians, that was a little bit of a growth curve for me to learn to be able to actually hear all of the instruments and what they were doing and notice if there was anything that maybe we need to go back and practice again. So is there anything or any parts of the song that if you were leading, you would say, hey, we probably need to go back and maybe like work on being more together, or any parts of it?
So I think I'd probably do the bridge again because I think we got a little big, a little quick. Okay. So I think by the time we got to the last time we did the bridge, everyone was like dying to finally break that to go into the chorus. So I would definitely practice that again, and then how we ended, because I did not talk about that at all. So it's like, sorry.
Okay.
But I think overall, I thought the verses were fine. And I loved the harmonies. Appreciate that. Those were good.
Yes. And the sign language. What a gift. That was awesome. So on the bridge, which I think was a good point you're making in terms of the building into the bridge, how about coming out of it? How does the team know that you are going to do a stop?
I don't remember what I did, to be honest. I was trying to remember if I did anything. I probably should have signaled, and I don't think I did.
So Tess played, and Melanie stopped. Is that right? Am I right in remembering? A couple of the team members stopped. A couple of the team members kind of kept going. And so, yeah, there was a little, you could tell like people were not quite sure what to do. And then there were a few signals that were kind of like a little bit hard to read at the end. And so you did a fantastic job with your vocal cues. Like you could totally tell where you were headed with all of your vocal cues. And the reason that we often kind of push for some of those hand cues is because it helps the team to know if I'm coming down, but I want you to kind of stay in with me versus a stop. So do you want the band to keep playing, and do you want them to keep playing the chords, or do you want them to stop? And so vocally, that's kind of hard direction to give sometimes. I mean, we can say it, but it's nice, especially for those endings of the songs, to be able to have that. And you could very much tell that you're used to giving vocal cues, and you did a fantastic job with that. You did a fantastic job leading the song. Yes, very, very anointed. Yes. What are some other things? I don't know if Dave or Daniel has any feedback in terms of sound. I thought the keys, I thought you did a really nice job complimenting from the very beginning. Where are you from? Madison, Wisconsin. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. I love your shirt. I'm a huge Avengers fan.
Yeah, I specifically loved, sometimes it's hard to train this, but you have a good intuition of how to kind of slowly start into a song. It was simple, but even the chords you chose were just really, they're sweet. You didn't overplay, you didn't underplay. It felt like it had some force right from the beginning. So just really good job. You have a really good sense there. Yeah. Dave, did you have anything?
So I thought that was awesome. Now, as playing backline a lot of the time that I do, and I know this is kind of an unfair situation because we squish you into these places and then say, okay, play a song, and then, I hope you don't die. That's kind of the scenario we're in, right? But what you did, I think, is just a good talking point for rehearsals. And you're obviously a gifted leader, and you've obviously got a call in your life to lead worship. I mean, it's really exciting to see what just happened here. But what I noticed was when you were giving instruction to the team in the beginning, you were facing your electric guitar player, and everybody else was behind you, and it's so meaningful to us as backline people to be able to say, man, okay, so what we're thinking is, oftentimes in a rehearsal setting, so this isn't fair to you because it's not what we're set up for, but it's just a talking point. In a rehearsal, if I'm leading worship, I'll actually turn the mic around, so I'm facing the band, And so just whenever we as worship leaders have a chance to talk to, connect with your back line, they're not your servants or your slaves. You know what I mean? Maybe you have that in Iowa, no? You do. Yeah, it's just take all the opportunity, like Kyle touched on already, to build connection, because music is a medium, right? Like it's a really powerful medium. That's why rock and roll is such a big deal. It's the Satan, yeah, is what we learned about a few weeks ago. Satan has perverted that, and he's stolen it, and he's put so much attention on music because it's such a powerful medium. So we're not up here because we want to be rock stars. That's the last thing that we're looking for. We want to glorify Jesus. And so as we continue to grow in operating and using the medium of music, we want to do it connected. Because when the bass player is connected to the drummer, and the bass and drums are connected to the worship leader, and you're paying attention to everybody, then we're kind of like we're in this together, all one voice. And one last thing, because I'm an electric player, bro, you got some nice chops and really, really tasteful. But yep, give it to him. Really tasteful licks. I just love what you're doing. I actually want to try some of that stuff myself. But you got electric guitar-itis, which I do, and Kyle does, and Matt Chubb. We all do it. You stare at that pedal board like the cure to cancer is written in microprint on that thing. I know, I do it too. And I'm just like playing the song, just staring at the one pedal. I don't know what it is. But as electric guitar players, just keep remembering. Actually, I've seen on some Instagram stuff, some guys actually write it on their volume pedal. Look up, dummy.
That's good. I just wanted to really quickly just touch, like Dave's talking about just like how the backline are not the servants of the worship leaders. And as he's saying that, like, I'm realizing I'm sitting here and I'm just like goofing off and chatting with these two as a keys player and a drummer. And like, it's just so important that you guys build that chemistry with your musicians and your whole team, because even if you're not already, like in rehearsals, like we just goof around sometimes, and because it's just fun, and we go to different places together, and sometimes we'll finish a song and we'll just stay on that progression and we'll just take it into some weird, crazy places, but you know, we're doing it together and we're laughing and we're enjoying it and we're having a good time. We're actually enjoying each other's company. And so it's really important to just make rehearsals fun, because rehearsals can like burn out a team more than the actual services can. It can just become such a routine thing, and it's important just to like build just that family, that community, that chemistry where it's really lighthearted, it's easy, it doesn't have to be so intense all the time. So that's just a quick note as I was just laughing with these goons.
Goons. No, that's really good. You know, I really love, there was a moment in the song where you could sense the Spirit. It just kind of fell in the room, and all of your faces lit up. And you were smiling, and you're like, oh, we're going after this. We're going after the presence of God. It was really cool to see. And so I just want to bless that. I thought that was really awesome. And just a reminder, I kind of hit on it, the other parts of the song, you know, really challenge yourself. What am I thinking, feeling? What am I believing about God during those low moments? And let your body express it. You know, it doesn't mean you have to go crazy and do, you know, anything, you know, the orb or any, you know, you don't have to do any of that. But it's really like let your face express. You know, we are leading people all the time. As soon as we go up on that stage, we are leading people at all times. And so just think about that. I know concentration. I know you're staring at the pedal because you're crying like, I can't mess this up or whatever. But just realize, like, people are looking at you, and when they see you worshiping, they will worship. They'll stop looking at you, and they'll just like, oh, yeah, Jesus. And so just a reminder there. One challenge just for you guys, I don't think you were playing with a click. I would just say the click, I mean, I think you might have mentioned some stuff last year about the click. The click is your friend or your enemy or your frenemy. I would just say if you're a musician, a worship leader, instrument or no instrument, practice with a click. Just have a love affair with it. It's so important. It keeps don't take that too far. Do you want to just speak on that? I feel like you have some really good stuff, Dave, on the click. And I know there's some people from last year, but also new this year. And I just think it's really changed my musicianship. I know it's changed the way we can actually flow. Like we are a lot about what are you doing, Holy Spirit, in the song. So often what we do in rehearsal, we don't always do during the set but the click kind of glues us together. So anyway, anything as an amazing musician that you are.
Oh, yeah. Say that again.
You're amazing.
Well, just one more time.
You're amazing.
Yeah, okay. So the click is this, and we were just talking about this in the workshop that I did here this morning. The click is this controversial thing, and so oftentimes it's like Blake, Carolyn's son, who's an amazing up-and-coming drummer. When he was starting to play with the click, he called it the evil clock because he swore that thing was speeding up and slowing down. He was playing the same, but the metronome is going faster and slower. The thing about the click is when you dial in the tempo of a song, and that's where you want to be, then it doesn't matter how excited you are or the level of intensity or whatever, you can play with all the intensity in the world. Intensity doesn't mean faster. And, a lighter, more tender moment doesn't mean slower, right? And so if you plug into any of the current music that we're listening to, and you put your tempo app from Frozen Ape, write that down. If you click it, you can click it out, and those guys will be on the click the whole time. And the crazy stuff. Somebody mentioned Steph Gretz. There's not a lot more crazier than Stephanie Gretz. But you listen to her song, and it's just on the click the entire time. So what I love about it so much is when we don't have to worry about the tempo, we don't have to worry about the chords like you were saying with Danelle. It's the four-chord wonder, like most of our songs are. Not that you'd know it by my playing last night. I don't know where I was. But when you don't have to think about that kind of stuff, then we can focus. Then we can go after this stuff like Kyle was saying. Then we can be free to really step into new levels of expression of our worship through our music, because we're not worrying about that drummer is speeding up, or good Lord, come on. When the song's too slow, you know what I'm saying? So it just makes it so much easier to forget about the menial things and to keep our heart and our eyes focused on the thing that we're really going after.
Thanks, Dave.
Melanie, you did such a fantastic job. I wish you can move to Sullivan. I know I've told you that before, but you're awesome. Thank you, and awesome job on the bass. And everybody but Barry can take a step down. Would you please just give a huge shout out to this team? I'm going to pick on Barry for just a moment. So I've known Barry for, I don't know, I'm trying to think how long ago it was that I came out to visit you guys. Has it been like 6 or 7 years? It's been a while that I've known Barry, and he's been a worship director at the Harvest Church. I believe that you guys are almost 11 years old, somewhere in there. Is it closer to 15? Okay, I was thinking you guys were the same age as Sullivan for some reason, but anyway. And Barry was just telling me today about some recent transition in his life, and it was so encouraging to me. As an early 40-something, I know I look like I'm in my 30s, but yes, I'm in my early 40s. Worship is a culture where when we hit 40, it's easy to feel like we're done. I'm just being real. It's kind of like, people are looking to the younger generation. I could give you stories for the next hour of friends of mine from across the United States that have been not hired, even though they've worked for a long time in their role because they're not young enough, or just not quite qualified enough, but mostly because of age. And so I personally just want to be an advocate for the anointing doesn't leave us when we hit 40 years old or 42 or 45. But it also means that we've got to be continually bringing up younger leaders and releasing them and not be intimidated by them. So it really goes both ways, walking hand in hand, and that's why I'm so excited I get to co-preach with Kyle tonight, because we are 2 generations leading together and working together, and hopefully for a long time. And so, Barry, I just had asked today if you would just quickly just share a little bit about your transition and with us, because it's an amazing testimony.
We good? Yes. So I didn't want to do this, and you can ask my whole worship team who's here when I'm sitting there at lunch going, I'm not going to share this story, and everybody's like, why not? So the cool part, it's not my story. It's God's story that I got to be in, and I just love that part of it. But Harvest Vineyard Church, hometown, Ames, Iowa. That's where we're from. And my wife and I walked through the doors there 12 years ago. And within 2 weeks, I felt the Holy Spirit telling me, this is your home. And this is where you're going to do music. This is where you're going to leave, marks on the place. And I said, awesome, this works really convenient for my life. I'm 30 years old. This is great. What God didn't tell me is there's going to be a 9.5-year waiting period. And in that waiting, he's just shaping me. But I admitted to my worship team that not all those 9.5 years were obedient. And there was times I took it into my own hands. I'm like, I've waited for you, God. I've waited. It's enough. I mean, it's long enough. And, he just kept using those moments. Every time I got that nudge and I, applied at another church, sometimes I even got physically sick. God's like, no, you're supposed to be here. And it's just been awesome to be a part of that. And at the age of 41, I went full-time for the first time in February. And just, it's not the end of the story, it's the beginning of the story. But anyway, 40-year-olds, we're not disqualified. And we can wear skinny jeans too. Anyway, thanks for letting me share that with you.
Woo. So what I heard you saying, Barry, is that in the 9 years of waiting, you were restless. Yeah. And so in the 9 years of waiting, you were restless. And I'm sure even your leaders felt that, but there's times where when you're a growing church, you cannot staff everybody full-time that you would like to staff full-time. And so especially there's just times where you've got to kind of fill roles and put people in dual roles or multiple roles. Some of us wear sometimes too many hats in those processes of growing a church. And so I think one thing I really appreciate as a pastor has been that my team members who are getting restless talk to me about it. That they come and they tell me, you know what, I'm feeling restless right now. I'm just going to be honest. I really would love to be able to be on staff. I'd really love it. Because that, or even for me, if I'm noticing it, for me to keep that conversation open, because if we're not open about it, even if it's awkward, then resentment starts to build and disconnect starts to happen without us even realizing it. And so it's really important if you're in that position and you're like, man, I really want more, just talk about it. And I tell the story often of really wanting to lead a team and not being qualified. And I was devastated and cried, in my pastor's office. I ugly cried in front of him for an hour. And I remember calling him again and just sobbing. And I feel bad for him, because he had to deal with a sobbing female who's like, I don't understand why I'm not qualified. But the truth is that honoring him and being patient in the process, even when I was restless, even when I felt like a little bit of a victim and I felt like I was qualified, but I was being told I wasn't qualified, sticking it out and honoring through that process and trusting God. In the end, I look back and I knew why the timing wasn't right. But in the moment, we don't always understand. And so I think those conversations are really important. The vulnerability is really important. And I really appreciate you sharing that, Barry. It's very encouraging. And so thank you all for being a part of boot camp. Tomorrow we have the one and only Bill McElhaney in the house. And Bill McElhaney is the one who kind of got us rolling with boot camp, and he's hardcore. Lots of fun, and so we'll really look forward to what Bill has in store for us tomorrow. And so I believe we have a short break, and then we're headed to workshops this afternoon. Breakouts at 3:30. 3:30. And so take a break, get some more coffee, water, snacks, whatever you like, and then look at your workshop list. Our workshops were so awesome this morning. So have fun.